Okay, before we go today, Brent, go ahead and stand up. You got a little drunk tonight. Unfortunately, you sobered up before you go into this rant. But I know that several days ago you called me, and you said you wanted to either talk on the radio show or write an article about Vince McMahon and the tanning salon incident. And so the floor is yours.
All right. Well, I checked the internet one day, and I was feeling kind of blue, and I saw that Vince had an incident in the tanning salon.
Allegedly,
and my mood elevated completely. I was so happy. It looks like he had finally done something that could potentially cost him control of the company. You know, who knows what could happen with this? But allegedly, he was. Should I just assume they've all heard of the incident?
No, go ahead and tell the story. I want to hear
Okay.
what you read.
Okay. Well, allegedly, he, from what I remember, he went into the tanning salon. The tanning salon attendant, he asked her to take some photos of himself, and then he went and took his own camera phone and showed her nude photos of himself, nude and partially nude.
You sound like you're on the stand.
I mean, only Vince would think that a 22-year-old would want to see a 60-year-old man in these photos. And then, after she didn't have any interest, he went and had his tan, and went back and started up another conversation with her, tried to feel her up. And then the funniest thing that really cracked me up was all Stephanie would say is, Vince was there, and no, I have no knowledge that anything happened. And according to Bryan, Linda called the incident bizarre.
Yes, she did, in fact, call it bizarre.
So this doesn't exactly sound like his wife or daughter were defending him. I mean, I think they both think, yeah, he's certainly capable of something like this. So I imagine that Vince will go and pay her off, and that will be the end of it. However, if word gets back to this young lady, I recommend that she have a discussion with Rita Chatterton.
That's high on her priority list, but go ahead.
And put a and go and put the word out and see if there's potentially other women out there that Vince has had incidents with.
So, Mr. Kremen, in your expert opinion, was Mr. McMahon guilty of these allegations?
Well, I can't say I'm the most objective source on that. Vince and I have a bit of a history.
Has he groped you?
No, however, he didn't appreciate some of the questions I had for him at the WrestleMania press conference.
Actually, I'm glad you're here because I have to ask you a quick question. Many of you probably remember the press conference in Seattle for WrestleMania several years ago when Seattle was going to be coming to Safeco Field. Sean was there, correct? Yes, we
got to interview Stephanie.
We'll get to you in a second, Sean, but the deal was cut short early because a young man asked a question that Vince McMahon did not like, and that young man was Brent Kremen. Brent, what was the question that you asked Vince McMahon?
Well, I asked him why they haven't had more champions lately, like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, or I threw in Kevin Nash because Kevin Nash is tall, but he's not exactly known for his physique, as opposed to guys like I'm not sure if I said Triple H or not. I don't think I had the guts to say that, but Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, guys that would also be big fans of Jack LaLanne.
And his juicer.
Yes, and his juicer.
And so how did they react when you asked this question? Oh, Sean's standing up.
Sean? I just want to point out that he asked that question in the exact same manner in front of hundreds of people that are all just kind of sitting there going, boo!
Did you know?
They didn't. Do you think that they just didn't understand what I was getting at?
I think they wanted questions. I think they wanted happy, non-invasive questions, and you spoiled the party.
Well, I don't care. I felt that the mainstream media who was there needed to know the real issues that go on in that company.
You do ask the hard questions, Brent. I will give you that.
Well, thank you, especially for people that I have no respect for.
I see. Now, Sean, when you were there at the conference, did you know Brent?
Yeah, well, I met him before. I think we went to a SmackDown show or something like that.
So it wasn't just some strange man that stood up and you went, who is this nutcase here that just ruined the press conference?
No, he was way behind me in the back row, and I heard him, and I looked to see who it was. I knew it was, and I immediately turned back around.
So, Brent, what happened after you asked this question?
I believe Vince indicated that he didn't know what I was talking about.
Uh-huh. And then?
Can you could probably remember better than me. I had a follow-up question.
I do believe you tried to...
I think he asked, somewhere it ended up where he, where he asked me to take off my shirt, which I absolutely refused to do.
That's
right. He basically, was saying, like, what do you know? You're a skinny reporter. And I actually was working out at the time, but, it doesn't,
you were no
matter.
Triple
It's
H.
not the issue.
Sure.
Yeah, I was working out for a couple of years, and no matter what I do, I'm never going to look like Triple H.
Most likely not.
No.
So now I seem to recall like the mic was being pulled away from you as you were trying to ask a follow-up question.
Yes, and then the press conference was ended. Vince McMahon had enough of Brent Kremen and the rest of Seattle, and ended the press conference.
What was your follow-up question that really ended the whole deal?
He never got a chance to answer it or ask it.
I just remember you sputtering something out as the whole thing was just ended immediately. So I had forgotten about that until you mentioned it, Brent. So you ended the WrestleMania press conference single-handedly. So I think we should all give you a hand for that one.
Thank you, and I was actually with Kyra Radio at the time.
And shortly thereafter, you were no longer with them?
Yes.
Was this related in any way?
Yeah, actually, it kind of was. Vince was so angry that the next day they had like at Quest Field. No, actually, it wasn't the next day. Actually, it was at WrestleMania itself. So I was at Cairo a number of months later. At WrestleMania itself, I got a pass to the to the media sessions at Quest Field the day before WrestleMania, and so I had my tape recorder with me, and I had some questions for Terry. I think I might have
Who's
asked
Terry?
Hogan?
Terry Reynolds.
Oh,
Oh, that was terrible.
Go on.
I think I might have said something like, I remember you from back when you were Alexandra York, and and I might have asked her about how she feels the women are treated in WWE,
sure,
or something like that.
Pressing questions,
but I didn't think so. I thought the Alexander York was a great gimmick at the time.
Okay, so what happened?
So the program director at Cairo gets a call saying that I was asking harassing questions, like they insinuating that I was asking like sexually harassing questions to Terry.
Who could have ever thought that about you?
And I actually had the whole interview on tape.
Oh, you had evidence.
Yes, and so when my program director got a call at home from the media agent from WWE, who I'm sure Terry had supposedly complained, but I'm sure this thing must have been orchestrated by upper management.
Sure. Conspiracy. Yeah, go on.
Well, I obviously didn't ask Terry anything inappropriate at all because it was on tape.
Yeah, you had evidence.
Right.
So what happened?
So I was canned. But ultimately, when I went to the union, and the union looked into it, when the union
Sean just lost it.
the union looked into it. My reasons for dismissal had nothing to do with the interview with interviewing Terry. Had nothing to do with inappropriate questions at all.
They just canned you.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's perfectly understandable. Well, that's a hell of a story, Brent. I never got the full details on that story till just now.
I just wanted to add that Brent has the great distinction to be personally edited out of the WrestleMania 19 DVD.
They showed the entire DVD except for his question?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the press conference was on the WWE.com as well, and Brent was edited out of that too.
That is amazing.
Well, I'm sure they had time constraints, you know.
Sure, of course. They had to get rid of at least 2 minutes of that for to make the DVD, but that's amazing, Brent. I'm glad you were here today. You saved yourself with that amazing story here to finish off the show. So
That's your opinion?
Oh, come on. That was good stuff. Plus, you ever see Sean laugh like that except when he calls you fat and gay? Never. It's the first time I've ever seen him laugh over something unrelated to that. That alone made him laugh. So, but thank you, Brent, for. Yes, you have one more thing.
Yeah, Sean and I, Sean works there now, and and this is the same company that we work for, the same radio company.
Yeah.
I work for Clear Channel. You work for Intercom.
Oh, excuse me. I was wrong.
Close enough. You both work
You're
for
in
the radio
same industry.
Yes.
Well, I think that's pretty much it for today, unless anybody else has any pressing matters of which to discuss. And if not, I guess I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank all of our various individuals assisting us today, including Brent Kremen with the groundbreaking story of the WrestleMania press conference, and, of course, Vince and Sean. And it's been real, so I want to thank you, everybody. And